Imagine you are falling, not through air, through water. Cold, black, crushing water. You've been falling for 5 hours. The surface is 7 miles above you. The sun is gone. The pressure around you is now so immense that a steel submarine without reinforcement would fold like a tin can in a fist. You are deeper than any human being has any right to be. And then, you see something move. That moment happened. It was real. And what they found next changed everything we thought we knew about life, death, and what this planet is truly capable of. This is the story of the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth. And I promise you, nothing you've heard about it has done it justice. In the western Pacific Ocean, roughly 200 miles southwest of the U.S. territory of Guam, the ocean floor tears open. Not gradually, not gently, it tears like a wound in the Earth's crust that never healed, stretching 1,580 miles from north to south, a crescent-shaped abyss carved into the bottom of the sea. This is the Mariana Trench, and at its deepest point, a location known as the Challenger Deep, the ocean plunges to 36,037 feet, nearly 11 kilometers straight down. That is not a typo. That is not an exaggeration. If you took Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on land, and dropped it into the Challenger Deep, its peak would still sit more than 2 kilometers beneath the surface. The entire mountain would be swallowed whole, and you'd never see it again. The Mariana Trench isn't just deep. It is the lowest point on the entire surface of Earth, the absolute bottom of everything. The place where our planet ends. For most of human history, we had no idea what was down there. We couldn't reach it. We couldn't see it. We couldn't even imagine surviving it. And honestly, we assumed it was empty. We were wrong. Here is something that will make the Mariana Trench feel even more extraordinary. It shouldn't exist. Or rather, it exists only because of a collision that has been happening in slow motion for 170 million years. 2 tectonic plates are meeting in the western Pacific. On one side, the Pacific Plate, one of the largest slabs of rock on the planet, grinding westward at a few centimeters per year. On the other, the smaller Mariana Plate. When they meet, something has to give. The Pacific Plate is older, denser, heavier. So physics does what physics always does. It forces the heavier object down. The Pacific Plate dives beneath the Mariana Plate in a process called subduction. And right at that collision point, the ocean floor cracks open. That crack is the trench. What makes the Challenger Deep specifically so extreme is the age of the rock being subducted. The Pacific Plate here is some of the oldest oceanic crust on the planet, 170 million years old. You are not just looking at a hole in the ocean. You are looking at geological time made visible ancient rock from the age of dinosaurs being slowly dragged back into the Earth's mantle. The Mariana Trench is a scar, yes, but it is also a time machine. Let's make this personal. Don't forget to subscribe. Every time you hit subscribe, it pushes me to give my absolute best and create even better content. Every time you forget submarines for a moment. Forget technology. Imagine your unprotected body descending toward the Challenger Deep. At 1,000 feet, the sunlight is gone. You are in permanent darkness. Every photon of light from the surface has been absorbed. You cannot see your own hand in front of your face. At 3,000 feet, you've entered what scientists call the midnight zone, a region of the ocean where sunlight has never, in the entire history of Earth, reached. By 36,000 feet, the Challenger Deep, the water pressure pressing against your body, is over 1,000 times greater than its sea level. That's roughly 8 tons per square inch. The equivalent of stacking 3 full-sized cars on your thumbnail. The air in your lungs would compress to nothing in an instant. Your bones would not break, they would splinter. The fluid in your cells would behave in ways biology was never designed to handle. No human body survives that. Not for a second. The temperature at the bottom hovers between 34 and 39 degrees Fahrenheit, just above freezing. And the darkness is not the darkness of a room with the lights off. It is the darkness of a place that has never known light. Absolute. Complete. Permanent. For nearly a century, scientists believed that any place this hostile simply could not support life. They sent their theories into the abyss with complete confidence. The abyss sent something back. January 23, 1960. Two men climb inside a steel sphere. It is 7 feet in diameter. There is barely room to stand. They seal the hatch, check their instruments, and begin to sink. U.S. Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh and Swiss engineer Jacques Piccard are descending inside a vessel called the Bathyscaphe Trieste, a bizarre machine that looks like an underwater blimp attached to a steel ball. A massive tank of gasoline sits above them for buoyancy. Below it, a tiny reinforced sphere designed to keep them alive under pressures that had never been tested at full depth. There are no cameras, no sample collection equipment, no live feed to the surface. Just two men, a steel shell, and the unknown. The descent takes 4 hours and 47 minutes. At around 30,000 feet, an explosion of sound rips through the vessel. A crack so loud it shakes everything. One of the outer plexiglass windows has fractured under the pressure. Walsh and Piccard look at each other in the half-darkness of their tiny sphere. They do not turn back. At 10:06 p.m., the Trieste touches the seafloor at 35,800 feet. The cabin temperature has dropped to near freezing. They are exhausted, cramped, sitting at the bottom of the world with 20 minutes before they must ascend. And then, through the small viewport, something moves. A flat fish, about a foot long, gliding slowly across the sediment in the blackness. Then shrimp-like creatures, drifting past the glass. Walsh and Piccard had just made the most important biological discovery of the 20th century, and they had no camera to prove it. When they surfaced and reported what they'd seen, scientists were skeptical. A fish at that depth? Impossible, they said. But one truth was undeniable. Humans had reached the bottom of the earth and come back alive. It would take 52 years before anyone went back. Not because no one wanted to return, but because the technology wasn't ready. The Trieste was expensive, primitive, and nearly impossible to operate at scale. The US Navy moved on. Funding evaporated. The deepest point on Earth slipped back into mystery. Scientists sent unmanned probes, remotely operated vehicles. Landers dropped from ships that drifted to the bottom and were retrieved days later. These brought back grainy footage, some samples, hints of life. But no human eyes. The only eyewitness account of the Challenger Deep remained frozen in 1960. A 20-minute window from two freezing men in a steel ball who had nothing but their own vision to document what they saw. The deepest place on Earth had been visited once. Briefly. In the dark. And then abandoned. Until March 26, 2012. The submersible is shaped like a vertical torpedo. The pilot sphere is so cramped that the occupant cannot fully extend their arms. The window is 9.5 inches thick. A single piece of specially engineered glass designed to withstand pressures that no material was ever meant to endure. James Cameron, filmmaker, ocean explorer, the man who spent years preparing for this moment, seals himself inside and begins to descend alone. This time, there are cameras. There is sampling equipment. There is technology that didn't exist in 1960. The descent takes 2 hours and 36 minutes. When Cameron reaches the bottom at 35,756 feet, he becomes the third human being in history to see the Challenger Deep, and the first to do it alone. What he finds surprises him. He expected alien abundance. What he gets instead is silence. Lunar and desolate, he later says. A flat plain of fine sediment stretching out in every direction. Small ghostly amphipods drifting near the bottom. But no fish. No obvious abundance of life. He feels, he says, completely isolated from all of humanity. But what his equipment brings back tells a different story. The sediment samples contain 68 new species. Most of them bacteria, His cameras capture microbial mats growing on chemically altered rocks. Evidence of chemosynthesis, life that doesn't use sunlight at all, but instead feeds on chemical reactions in the Earth's crust. A hydraulic leak kills his sampling arm after just 3 hours. He surfaces earlier than planned. The trench had let him in. It had shown him just enough. And then, it had quietly ended his visit. 7 years later, a former U.S. Navy officer and private explorer named Victor Vescovo arrives at the Challenger Deep with something no previous explorer had: time and determination. In May 2019, piloting a submersible called the Limiting Factor, Vescovo descends to 35,853 feet, the deepest dive ever recorded. He breaks every previous depth record. Then he goes back, and back again, and again. Vescovo becomes the first person to dive to the Challenger Deep multiple times, spending hours on the seafloor, mapping, collecting, documenting. His team discovers 4 new species of amphipods. They film sea cucumbers moving through sediment. They find vibrantly colored rocky outcrops, chemical mineral deposits, evidence of active geology happening in real time at the bottom of the world. Since 2019, the Limiting Factor has made over 20 successful crewed dives to the Challenger Deep, more human visits to the deepest point on Earth than in all of previous history combined. But Vescovo also finds something that turns his stomach. On the seafloor at nearly 7 miles deep, in a place more people have dreamed of reaching than have actually walked on the moon, he sees a plastic bag, candy wrappers, human garbage, at the absolute bottom of the Earth. His team collects the creatures living there and sends them to laboratories. Scientists examine their tissues. Nearly every single animal tested contains microplastics in their bodies. The trash we throw away on land, the packaging we discard, the waste we dump into the ocean. It has traveled to the deepest point on the planet, and the animals living there are eating it. If pollution has reached the Challenger Deep, it has reached everywhere. So what does live at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? More than we ever deserve to find. The Mariana snailfish, discovered in 2017 at 26,830 feet, holds the record for the deepest fish ever recorded. It is translucent, ghostly. Its skeleton is soft cartilage rather than bone. Its body is gelatinous, built to absorb pressure rather than resist it. It has no swim bladder. It is evolution's answer to an environment that should make vertebrate life impossible. The supergiant amphipods, shrimp-like crustaceans growing up to 7 inches long, have solved the problem of pressure in a way that astonished scientists. They incorporate aluminum into their exoskeletons, extracted directly from the seafloor sediment, the first known species on Earth to use this metal as structural material. A biochemical trick found nowhere else in nature. The Dumbo octopus, named for its ear-like fins, drifts through the darkness at depths that would destroy most ocean creatures. It has no ink sac. Down here, there are so few predators that it never needed one. Xenophyophores, single-celled organisms the size of dinner plates, cluster on the sediment like alien flowers, some of the largest individual cells ever discovered on Earth. And the microbes, bacteria and archaea, living in conditions that would sterilize most environments on Earth, with biochemistry so fundamentally different from surface life that studying them is reshaping our understanding of biology itself. These creatures are not surviving in spite of the extreme conditions. They have become the extreme conditions. The pressure is not their enemy, it is their home. Between August and November of 2021, the Chinese submersible Fendouge, meaning striver, conducted 33 dives into the Mariana Trench as part of the most ambitious deep ocean research project ever attempted. They collected over 1,600 sediment samples. Analysis revealed more than 7,000 new microbial species, 89% of them completely unknown to science. Not rare, not barely surviving, thriving. In diverse, complex populations with strategies for existence that scientists hadn't even theorized. But the most staggering discovery came at 31,270 feet, nearly 6 miles down. Massive colonies, tube worms, bivalves, thousands of organisms clustered together in dense aggregations around cracks in the seafloor where methane seeped through. Chemosynthetic ecosystems, entire food webs powered not by the sun, but by chemistry in the Earth's crust. The team filmed tube worms a foot long, swaying like an underwater forest. Fields of clams packed so densely they covered the sediment like cobblestones. Microbial mats that looked like fresh snow blanketing the trench floor. The deepest and most extensive chemosynthesis-based ecosystem ever discovered on Earth. The implications stretch far beyond the Mariana Trench. If life can organize itself into complex ecosystems powered entirely by geology at 6 miles depth, then similar ecosystems might exist in every deep trench in every ocean. Trenches we have barely glanced at. Trenches that have never seen a camera. And if life can exist here, sustained by chemistry rather than sunlight, then the universe of places where life might exist just expanded enormously. So, what did they find at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? They found life. Not a barren wasteland. Not the empty abyss that a century of scientific assumption predicted. A living world, thriving in total darkness, under pressures that crush steel, in temperatures just above freezing, without a single ray of sunlight. Creatures with biochemistry, unlike anything in the sunlit ocean. Ecosystems powered by the chemistry of the Earth itself. Evidence that life on this planet may have originated not in warm, shallow pools, but in the crushing dark of deep ocean trenches. And they found us. Plastic bags. Candy wrappers. Microplastics embedded in the tissue of animals living at the most remote point on the planet. The Mariana Trench is both a testament to the unstoppable power of life and a mirror held up to human civilization. It tells us two things simultaneously. Life is more resilient, more inventive, more extraordinary than we ever gave it credit for. And there is nowhere left on Earth that we have not already touched. The deepest point on our planet is not empty. It is not pristine. It is a thriving, contaminated alien world, and it is ours to protect. The question is whether we will.